Hello everyone, this is Marc from Ono Anime, and let's talk Babymetal, shall we? So, Babymetal is certainly one of the more interesting and compelling success stories to come out of the Japanese idol music scene in recent years. For those that are unaware, Babymetal is a Japanese metal idol group formed in 2010 by the A-Muse Talent Agency as a subunit of the Sakura Gakuen idol group. In early 2014, the music video for their song Gimme Chocolate garnered them international recognition for their unique combination of cutesy idol vocals with a metal sound and aesthetic. Their first self-titled album, released worldwide later that year, solidified their international popularity and placed them at the top of iTunes metal charts in Germany, the UK, and the US. They also peaked at number 187 on the Billboard Hot 200, something few Japanese artists have ever achieved. Their first album featured a unique blend of technically impressive metal and sugary Japanese idol pop, a sound that was simultaneously titillating to curious listeners and infuriating to metal purists in equal measure. Their second album, released on March 29, 2016, and appropriately titled Metal Resistance, is the perfect follow-up to such a formative and genre-bending record. Most people that have listened to our podcast before know that I am not particularly the biggest fan of idol music, which is why my reaction to Babymetal's first album alternated wildly between positive and lukewarm with each track. However, as a lifelong fan of metal and all its complexities, I am happy to say that Metal Resistance tickles my fancy far more. Opening with the speed metal anthem Road of Resistance, Metal Resistance tells you right off the bat that, though Babymetal are an idol group first and foremost, they are here to make metal and look cute doing it, and they will not compromise. This track has the added bonus of featuring uncredited performances from Dragon Force's Herman Lee and Sam Totman, a welcome bonus indeed. The next track, Karate, offers no solace to those wishing to slow down, switching gears to a completely different style while still maintaining the frenetic and angry energy Babymetal set forth in songs like Megitsune from their first album. Karate is a proud tribute to gent bands like Meshuggah and Periphery, with a darker vocal style and lyrics focused on fighting through adversity. It's a new direction for a group with a million different directions in the first place, but is very welcome for someone like me who likes nothing more than to hear technically complex, squealing guitar riffs set against three girls screaming martial arts mantras. Unfortunately for me, it's after this where the album takes a nosedive for around 5 tracks. This is to be expected considering how many tracks on their first album felt much more like idol songs than metal, as after all Babymetal is still an idol group trying to appeal at least partially to an idol-loving audience. The middle of this album will be disappointing for fans listening to the album to hear metal, as it is clear in this section that metal is used more as a gimmick for selling idol pop than as the basis for music itself. I think it's completely understandable given the nature of Babymetal, but still it's something that is almost certainly not for me. Delving further into the album, I became much more intrigued with tracks like Good Job, stylized as GJ, another Periphery-sounding gent track, and more interestingly, a track called Sis Anger, which seems to be Babymetal's loving tribute to thrash metal bands like Slayer. However, the last 3 tracks of the album are, in my opinion, the best music Babymetal has produced to date. This track, called No Rain, No Rainbow, could very well be an arena rock ballad from the 1980s, with its resonant piano, screaming guitar solos, and lyrics professing a love lost. I won't lie, it had me tearing up and hitting my steering wheel while listening to it in my car. The The second to last track, called Tales of the Destinies, took me completely by surprise. It's incredibly technically complex from an instrumental perspective, switching tempos and chord structures in a clear homage to progressive metal bands like Between the Buried and Me and Liquid Tension Experiment. The fact that its lyrics are equal parts English and Japanese only adds to its mysterious and unfamiliar quality for a group that up until this album had been pretty on the nose. This genre of metal is one of my absolute favorites, so color me impressed. Depending on what region you bought Metal Resistance in, you got the final track The One in either English or Japanese. Being American, of course I was treated to the English version, and I use the word treated because that's simply what it is, a treat. Hearing Babymetal's near-perfect English sung in operatic harmony over soaring guitar riffs is a perfect way to end this wild ride, and a touching tribute to their English-speaking fans, without whom they would certainly not be the worldwide sensation they are today. It's an earth-shattering metal opera that undoubtedly is rocking venues to their foundation whenever it's played at their live shows. It's hard to pick a favorite track because this album presents such a high level of musical diversity, but if I had to, The One would be, well, you know.
I feel it now, the time has come for us. Believe it now, it's time to get ready. Tell me why you know that this is the end of the world. Tell me why you know it's the truth.
The three main members of Babymetal, along with their backup band, the Kami Band, led by cross-hard guitarist Takayoshi Omura, have done something incredibly special with Metal Resistance. They've turned the dial that rests perpetually between idol pop and metal several notches towards metal, which I greatly appreciate. They've also managed to peak at number 39 on the Billboard 200, the highest rank for a Japanese musical act since Q Sakamoto in 1963. For idol fans and metal fans, this album will represent a broadening of horizons. Being a metal fan, I can't say I like all the songs on this album, but the ones I do like are some of the best and most unique metal tributes I've heard in quite a while. Babymetal continues to be nothing short of a worldwide sensation, and I, for one, cannot wait to see what they do next.